What's up guys, Seth here, back with another video on Marvel Contest of Champions, and today I'm going to be going over the first week of the CALL-ISEUM event. So this is a new side event in game if you haven't been aware yet, basically imitating what the Coliseum events have been in the past. So you've got your solo Coliseums that we've done and your Alliance Quest Coliseums, but now we've got one built around the side quest and the current Metamorphosis event happening in game. There's mainly two parts of the CALL-ISEUM for your rewards and everything. You've got your 5 different threat levels, which is your 5 different difficulties, and it's also the 5 different levels of champions that you need to bring in for each level. So for your threat level 1, you've got to use 3-star champions or below, your threat level 2, 4-star below, threat level 3, 5-star below, level 4, 6-star below, and level 5, 7-star or below. Threat level 1, you're going to get a bunch of rewards more catered around leveling up your 4-star champions. Some 5-star shards as you're getting up there. I guess the main thing that I'm going to be looking for someone who's trying to max out all my stuff is mainly the 4-star signature stones. Threat level 2 is going to be ones mainly catered towards leveling up 5 stars. So you've got your tier 4 basics, you've got your signature stones again, as well as enough ascension dust to ascend a 4-star. In the level 3, you've got a lot of the tier 6 basic and tier 3 alpha, some 6-star signature stones and some 6-star shards and everything as well. Again, nothing too crazy. In the level 5, this is where it starts to get a bit more meaty in the rewards. And this is where you're going to get a bunch more of the tier 6 basic or tier 3 alpha selectors. So you can sort of choose which ones you need more, as well as more sig stones, some relic stuff, some more tier 7 basic fragments, and a bunch of tier 6 class catalysts, as well as ending off with some titan shards and awakening gem shards. Alongside that, when you're doing fights in any of the levels, you are going to gain points into the CALL-ISEUM realm event. The community has already finished this event though, so I don't know if they're going to add more rewards. They've already added a couple of different tiers in here as well after the last milestone was hit, which was the 2 to 3 gem. If you haven't done this yet, jump in and you're going to get a bunch of rewards just based off of a few fights too. As you can see, every threat level you need 900 points to get the max rewards, and as you'll probably see as well, there are 6 fights for you to complete. So week 1 we got Jack-o'-lantern fight and the Squirrel girl fight. Every fight you need to get 150 points, so across the 6 fights you're going to get 150, 300, 450, 600, 750, 900, which is going to get you the total 900 points required for each. So for every fight, 150 points in each fight. What you're going to want to do is maximize how quickly you can get this done, because if you're trying to get all the rewards like myself, you need to get 150 bars done in every fight, in every threat level. Now for people that have the high ranked champions very specific to this fight, like I do, like Null and Onslaught, pretty straightforward. I mean, in the highest level, I got 155 bars with a rank 4 unascended Null, and I got 123 bars with Onslaught. I think the most ludicrous run I've had as well is with a 4-star Onslaught. I got 352 bars against Squirrel Girl, and same with Null, 210 bars with a 4-star Null against Jack-o'-lantern. If you don't have those champions, who should you use? What do you have to do? As an example, I'm going to use the 4-star version just because I have every 4-star almost maxed out. The Jack-o'-lantern fight, the node you're up against is the standard Coliseum node, which is the Endless Coliseum, whereas when you kill the defender, you deplete his bar to 0, he's just going to get another bar and you move on to the next one. So you've got to beat 1 bar, then 2 bar, then 3 bars, and that's how you get your total score. So with my Onslaught fight, I got 352 health bars down on Squirrel Girl. The next thing, which is probably the most important thing on this Jack-o'-lantern fight, is when the attacker inflicts an armor break, you also gain a fury effect, which is passive and indefinite. So the more armor breaks you can apply, the faster this fight is going to go, which is why Null is so key, is because you can stack on a crazy amount of armor breaks really, really quickly. And then outside of that, it's just that the defender is going to gain a 5% armor buff every 15 seconds, which if you're using a champion who's constantly inflicting armor break debuffs, isn't really going to be that important either. And then the only other thing is you just got to look out for the special 3 too. Null really is a key option for this. Some other options though, if you do not have Null, you should be looking for other armor break options in your roster. So that may be Medusa, that may be even Silver Surfer, potentially even CALL-ISEUM. There's a bunch of champions with armor breaks, it just depends on which ones you've got. So I would always prioritize using an armor break champion, even if you've got other champions that are higher rank but do not apply an armor break debuff. Let's just try Silver Surfer. I wouldn't be using Silver Surfer if I had, you know, CALL-ISEUM and Null and other champions. I mean, Silver Surfer does still apply armor breaks. That's mainly the one key thing that you need a champion to be able to do in this fight. So you can see we're halfway through the fight now and he has 14 bars down. So, you know, it's an option. You're just going to have to do probably a fair few fights with a Silver Surfer if he is your top bet. Medusa is another champion who also applies a decent amount of armor break debuffs. The only thing that you're going to have to look out for with Medusa is that with her armor shatter, she doesn't continue placing armor breaks on the defender. So once you have that armor shatter placed, as you can see on here now, I'm not gaining any more furies from the armor breaks being applied. So special 2 rotation, I mean, again, you want to place as many armor break debuffs as you can. So even doing like a medium combo or a medium, you can see those passive furies are just stacking up a lot. The one thing you want to make sure that you're not doing is doing a medium or medium into a special 1, because once you place that armor shatter, you're not going to apply any more armor break debuffs until that armor shatter expires. So I'm going to go for the special 2 rotation instead. You're going to stack up some bleeds there. You're going to get an opportunity to get some more hits in and some more armor breaks. Just being careful to not push him to 6 armor breaks, or again, even without the special 1, you will armor shatter him. But you can see, because every medium hit is applying an armor break, it ramps up the furies pretty quickly. I think it took us about 2.5 minutes to get to this point with Silver Surfer. So I guess now you can see at a similar point where I ended up ending the Silver Surfer fight, we have now gotten off a total of 24 bars. You could expect probably, I'd say once the ramp continues, probably about 60 bars, I would say, with Medusa, depending on the round that you're doing and depending on what rank you have her at, an option for sure. Now, another champion that I mentioned is CALL-ISEUM. I guess he's got very easy access to armor breaks based off of his heavy attack, I guess similar to Silver Surfer with his heavy attack. So now you can see at the about 2.5 minute mark, about halfway into the fight, we're now at the 25 bars. And I guess you could just maintain this damage from here, probably a bar nearly every combo. But again, the furies can go up to 100, so you've got a lot of potential for more ramp damage as well. Minute and a half to go or so, we're pushing up to sort of the 37, 38 bars. Cool, so Cull is an option for sure. As you can see, a lot of the options in here are still champions where it might take you a couple of runs or maybe 2 or 3 to 4 runs to be able to get the full 150 bars you need. And that's where the very, very specific counters come in. Null, because of his ramping ability and being able to place so many armor breaks. So what we're doing is we're trying to build up our Living Abyss to a decent number. You can go all the way to 99. I've found that a good sort of spot just to not spend all of your time ramping and not a lot of the time doing all of your damage. I found the 70 mark is a spot where you're still dealing a lot of damage, you're still getting a lot of armor breaks on the defender, but you're not spending all of your time getting that last 30 to get to the full 99 Living Abyss. So with Null, all you want to do is do your medium attacks and your heavy attacks to build the Living Abyss charges. Again, it's RNG based, similar to Cull's armor breaks, so you really just want to focus on getting as many openings for heavy attacks and for medium attacks as you possibly can. Let's go for 69 Living Abyss. That sounds like a good number. And this is where we're going to drop our special 3. This is going to turn all of those Living Abyss into armor breaks, and it's also going to enter our very, very high damage mode. You can see all of those 69 Living Abyss have turned to 69 armor breaks, and in turn we've gotten 69 passive furies on. And now what we're going to do is maintain the corruption mode with our special 1. And you can see the degenerations and even the main hits with Null here are just churning through bars. Even with Null's ramp time that it takes compared to the other champions, we're at about double in the amount of time, the amount of bars that other champions were at as well. Another perk of Null 2 is against a tech champion, he keeps their power quite low while he's doing this cycle as well. So you're not having to bait out a bunch of special attacks. You still do have to look out for the odd one here and there. It also means though that you get to spam a bunch of heavy attacks like this into the wall as well. And you can see Jack-o'-lantern's power is just not really doing much. And this is pretty much it for the next minute 24. This is what we'll be doing, is just spamming into the defender, using special ones, using heavy attacks when there's an opportunity to, and melting Jack-o'-lantern. We've already hit the 150 bars. We could quit out right now and you would have the full 150 done in one fight. There we go, 230 bars. So, Null, very, very clearly the best option for Jack, for sure. That is Jack-o'-lantern sorted, but what about Squirrel Girl? So Squirrel Girl is similar CALL-ISEUM premise. You've still got your bars you've got to get through. You've still got to have a specific sort of counter for it. But for Squirrel Girl, the nodes are differing in the fact that you, instead of using an armor break, when you apply a damaging effect to the defender, you then get your Fury passive that way. So same thing of getting up to the 99 Furies. You just want to apply a lot of debuffs. Champion that everyone's been using and that I use as well is Onslaught, just because he applies so many neuroshocks that you get up to full ramp very, very quickly. But what do you do if you don't have an Onslaught? Well, you want to look for the champions where you're not just applying big damaging debuffs, but you're applying a lot of damaging debuffs. Some champions that stood out to me: Jean Grey, Sunspot, Archangel. Archangel is difficult to get a high ramp though, because when you have a poison debuff on the defender and you then apply a bleed debuff to start your neuroshock damage, or what's it called? Neurotoxin damage. The bleed debuff to turn the poison to the neurotoxin doesn't apply as an additional debuff. So your ramping of the Furies is kind of capped at a certain point. And I found that with a lot of runs, I wasn't really getting past sort of the 20 or so Furies until you sort of were just constantly cycling neurotoxins. Now Archangel with the neurotoxin still does a lot of damage, but it's a bit inimeedial of a matchup. So as a bit of an example, let's give Jean Grey a try. So with Jean Grey, at the start of the fight, I'm pretty much just going to stick to the special 1 rotation, because the special 1 rotation is how you're going to apply the most amount of neuroshocks, and that's how you're also going to get your most amount of Furies. Within a minute, we're up to the 13 bars, and now we're fully ramped. In less than 2 minutes, Jean Grey is fully ramped up. This might be 150 bars right here. This might be another alternate option to Onslaught to get your 150 bars straight away too. And yeah, we're going to land somewhere in the 170s. So Jean, definitely an option. She clearly can do it. I've hit the 150 bars based off of that. So if this was your account and you hadn't done any yet, that would be your Squirrel Girl fight done too. Now, the only other thing that I will showcase is Onslaught versus Squirrel Girl. I said Sunspot before. I'll show you the ramp of Sunspot. Sunspot has a similar situation though with Archangel, where you sort of cap the damages at a certain point because of the Furies. So with Sunspot, you basically want to apply Incinerates, then hold your heavy to bring them back to you as your solar charges, and then use your special 1 to ramp up your solar charges. I can't remember the exact name, but you basically pull them back, you gain power from that, you build up your special 1. And then now, because I've got 3 of the solar charges on me, I now inflict 3 Incinerates per hit. So you can see because of that, because there's just so many debuffs that you're applying, you will ramp your Furies really, really quickly. It's just once you have it fully ramped up, it's very, very difficult to maintain a decent amount of damage with Sunspot in a long-term fight. He's very good for that sort of short to medium form content. He's really, really good damage for big hits. But again, CALL-ISEUM isn't the place for big hits. You know, now he's applying a bunch of Incinerates, but it's very, very hard to get up to a decent amount of power to be able to cycle that again through the SP3. You sort of are just going to let those solar charges fall off. Now, even without the solar charges, he is going to do a decent bit of damage just based off of having the 99 Furies. You're going to be able to end this fight around the 50 sort of bars. There's just definitely better options out there against Squirrel Girl. As I said, the last champion who I think is the best option for this fight, and who I think most people would agree is the best option for this fight, is Onslaught. Purely because Onslaught does so much damage over time. With Onslaught, you pretty much just want to get up to your 20 degens and just maintain that, and then just use your special 1s to keep that neuroshock damage up as well. If you don't know how to play Onslaught, your special 1 and your basic hits apply your neuroshock damage, and then you use your heavy attack to inflict a pause, and that is basically how you keep those debuffs paused on the defender. Now, you've got 2 types of pauses. If I was to stun Squirrel Girl and hit her with a heavy attack, I would put a regular pause like this, and that's where you can see your debuffs will peter off much, much faster, and your pause will end much faster. If you heavy attack her without a stun on her, like if you heavy attack after a special or you heavy counter her, you'll find that the pause will last a lot longer. Really, all we're going to do now is just bait specials, heavy after the specials, and then at opportune times throw our special 1 to apply more of the neuroshocks and get more and more damage up based on those degens as well. And that's pretty much the aim of the game with Onslaught. If you can maintain that degen the entire time, you're going to have a good time. Squirrel Girl's special 1 is also very easy to heavy after. Same with her heavy attack. I hope that this video has been helpful to show some options for these fights. Obviously, Null and Onslaught are going to be your safest options just because they deal so much damage over time. I think every round you're pretty much going to be able to reliably get 150 bars with Null and with Onslaught, so you can get it done really quickly. And even though the lower tier rewards are quite based around, you know, lower down champions, and they're based around, you know, the 4 stars and the 5 stars and 6 stars and stuff, and you might not want to focus on that much, I think it is still worth doing, because at the end of the day, you're going to get a bunch more rewards, a bunch more points to the Realm event as well, in case they add more tiers to that, and regardless, you're getting it done within 5 minutes, you know, it's bonus stuff for a very small amount of time used when you're using the right champions. So that's going to do it, guys. If you want to see the fights for next week, just over 3 days left until these next ones come out, which looks like it's going to be Vox and Captain America Infinity War. If you want to see who I use for these fights and you want a bit of a tutorial as well on those options, then let me know in the comments below. Until then, remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, if you got some information from it, if you found some other options except for Null and Onslaught, then let me know as well, because I think that'd be handy too. And then until the next time, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.